My name is Jamira Austin, and today I will be interviewing my grandmother about the attacks that took place on September 11, 2001 in New York City. Okay, grandmother, what is your full name?
Jewel Marie Austin.
Where are you from?
I'm from Detroit, Michigan.
And how old were you on September 11, 2001?
I was 42 years old.
Okay. Before the event questions, what do you recall about life before 9/11?
Well, if you ever been to New York City, you know New York City is a very, very busy place with lots of people. So the hustle and bustle of working and catching the trains and cabs, it's just a lot of traffic in New York. But before that, I worked at a plant, and everything was good.
Okay, did you usually travel by plane? By going to New York, like did you travel
Usually we would drive.
Okay. Security at airports or other locations, was it okay at that time? Was it like how it was on the 9/11 of the day? Was it like how they just went through with security?
Security was more laxed then. You could come in and you could check your bags and you would go straight through to wait for your plane.
Okay. So how do you feel about terrorist behaviors? Like how did you feel at that time about terrorist behaviors? Because it wasn't as popular as it is now.
Well, my thing is, if you have a problem with something, I mean, all those people's lives that were lost, it was unnecessary.
Right.
I put it like that. It was very, because a lot of people lost their lives.
That is a true statement. Were you scared of being attacked by terrorists before 9/11? Why or why not?
Before, no, I was not.
Okay.
I never thought about it. But then after 9/11, yes.
Yes. Did you ever visit any of the locations of 9/11 attack?
No.
Okay. The day of the event and weeks that follow questions. How did you find out about the attacks? What were you doing at that time? School, work, be Pacific.
I found out about 9/11. I was at work that morning at around about 8 or 9 o'clock. On the radio was a interruption, and the interruption stated that a plane had hit the World Trade Center. So everybody just like, what? And so they turned on the TVs, and sure enough, a plane had hit. At that time, it was the first plane. And then they were saying that there was a second plane. And so it was very, what's the word? It was very terrifying.
Right.
For the people that were on the plane, for the people that were in the Trade Center at that time. It was very devastating, and it was a disaster.
Right, right. What were your first feelings, emotions, when you heard about the attacks?
All the people that lost their lives, their loved ones. It was just a terrible time.
Right, I understand. Were you with other people when you heard about the attacks?
Yes, I was at work with co-workers.
So you were sharing that moment with others?
Yes.
Okay. What was your most vivid memory of that day?
Watching people trying to find people in the rubbish, firefighters, emergency workers, just people trying to help.
Okay. Were you afraid for your safety of your family?
No, I wasn't.
Okay. Were you personally connected to anyone in the towers, Pentagon, or planes?
No.
Okay. What do you remember about the nation and its leaders coming together in the days following September 11th?
Well, they had to really come together at that point because there was so much done and so much damage and so many lives lost that they really had to pull themselves together.
Right.
In order for America to get through this.
Exactly. Our government reacts. What do you think of the government's reaction to the attacks in the days and months after the attack?
Well, I think that they responded quickly.
Mhm.
I think they responded in a timely manner.
Mhm.
Um, it was a lot of things that had to be done, as I
Yes.
stated
True. Yes.
just a while ago. It was a lot of chaos,
Mhm.
really. But I think they pulled themselves together as Americans and
Mhm.
got the jobs done.
Yes. I totally agree. How did you feel about the decision to invade Afghanistan?
Well, I don't care about war. I hate when there's war because there's people that are going to lose their lives,
Exactly.
and all lives matter.
Exactly.
But sometimes you have to do things that you're not quite pleased with.
Right.
So they
They
had to make a
basically did,
decision.
yeah.
So
How did you feel about the decision to invade Iraq? Why?
well, you know, Iraq, the terrorists,
Right.
they hate Americans.
Right.
And so they have done things to take Americans' lives.
Exactly.
And I mean, we have to protect our country and our
Exactly.
people. So
Right.
whatever has to be done, it has to be done.
Right. How have the additional security measures at airports made you feel?
A lot safer.
Right.
A
I
lot safer.
totally
Because
agree.
as I stated before, when you would go to the airport a while back before that,
Mhm.
you would check into the airport, get your boarding pass, or
Mhm.
you already have it, and you check
Right.
in, and you could walk straight through the airport and sit and wait for your plane. You didn't have no checkpoints.
Right. Right.
But now you have checkpoints,
Points
you
and
have
all of that stuff,
and
right.
that's a good thing.
Right. How have the government's actions regarding civility of phone calls, emails, and social media made you feel?
A lot safer.
Mm-hmm.
A lot safer.
Okay. President Day questions. What do you believe is our nation's greatest security threat and why? Treating why? Sorry.
I think the greatest threat is to take our American people's lives.
Right. Right.
That's the greatest threat to me because, as you notice, when terrorists attack, they don't just take one person's
You
life.
take them all.
They
Yeah.
take
Lots of people's
lots of people's
Right.
lives. So, you know, a lot of people are affected by what they do. You
Right.
know? So, you know, I think at some point, I pray that terrorists just go away.
Right. Do you think that terrorism can be defeated? Why or why not?
I think it can. I think with the right people in place, terrorism could be abolished.
Yes, I truly agree. What do you believe should be done to protect the United States?
Well, we have our Army, we have our Navy, we have our Marines,
Yes.
we have the CIA, we have
Lots.
the FBI. So I think that they're doing a good job of protecting our country.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, sometimes things do fall through the cracks.
Right.
But for the most part, I believe that they're doing a great job.
Okay. Years after 9/11, how has 9/11 changed you?
I'm more aware.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's
I'm
a lot
more
of
aware.
people's answers. Yes.
When I go different places, I'm more aware of my surroundings.
Right. How has 9/11 changed your nation of the world?
Well, there was a time I would like to have traveled abroad,
Mm-hmm.
but now I don't think so.
Okay. What lessons should be learned from 9/11?
Well, you can never perceive what is going to happen.
Right.
You can only, my thing, you can only pray and ask God to keep you protected.
Right.
But like now they have implemented on planes, they have like sheriffs on planes and different things. They got different things to kind of detect,
Right.
you know, what's going on. So
Right.
I kind of feel safe.
Okay. Okay. What would you want students to know about this day?
That it was a terrible day. It was a day of destruction.
Right.
It was a day of mass murder. It was a day that will never be forgotten.
Right.
A lot of people lost their lives on that day.
That is true.
And a lot of families still suffer from the ones that they lost
Yes.
on that day. And a lot of bodies from that will never be recovered.
Exactly. Okay, these are just a few questions that I had that I wanted to say to you. On that day of 9/11, what do you think, if you were on either of those buildings, what do you think your last call and moment of reaction, what would you say to your family if you had that chance to call?
Wow. That I love them. I would want them to be happy in life and to go on. And just to say the Lord's Prayer.
How do you think people at that time, families, were at that time? How do you feel they were acting? Like, were they angry at the government? Because some families were angry because they thought the government had a role to play in this. How do you think you would have reacted if you were angry, you know, if you had a child there, and how would you feel?
Well, probably would have been hurt, anger, needed and wanted answers.
Right.
You know, you can never say exactly how you would feel until you've been there. You know, you can only imagine. So I imagine that, yeah, it was a lot of anger.
Yes.
There was a lot of people that was angry because of this and wanted to know why and how could this happen.
Right. Last question. Do you feel that the government did the right thing by how they attacked Afghanistan and Iraq and, you know, going into straight war? Do you feel that that was the, you know, what they should have done?
You know, I could never say that I think war is right.
Right.
Because like I said, lives are going to be taken either way. But if they feel that they did the right thing to protect our country, then yeah.
Okay. I'm Jemira Rawson, and this is my great, beautiful grandmother. Thank you. Bye.